Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. That was a tough conversation with Bill Webb. Oh, man. And, usually when a family experiences something like Bill and his family had to experience with the death of his granddaughter, Camden Elliott, if they come on this show, it's because they've done something that they want to make sure other families don't have to experience the same tragedy. And this Cam walk and the one, tied in with the one pill can kill, every step counts effort by the Attorney General's office. It fits together. So I really honor him. And as tough as it is to talk about it, really honor them for having the willingness and understanding the importance of it to tell Camden's stories so that other parents and grandparents don't have to experience the same thing. So actually, a couple of times during the conversation, they actually mentioned Todd Trenchard, and it's ironic that Todd is my next guest from the Bacot Foundation of South Mississippi, someone who I enjoy spending time with. But Bill's story is a tough one, isn't it, Todd?
It is. I've been talking with him the last couple of years. He's been very passionate about doing something in their honor or something that brings awareness. And if there's any type of solace for things like this or something that can be learned, is that you can pass it on to someone else so they don't have to go through that. And so he's done a lot of legwork to put on a walk over here in Gulfport down 2nd Street. And I've been helping him, get the Home of Grace involved with that. And, had him on our show. You're having him on your show, and I know the Attorney General's office is very involved with this. So he's already a success. He's already successful. I think he just. Right. I think he'll continue to grow, and that never leaves you when you lose a loved one like that.
Well, you've seen it. You see it through your work with Homes of Grace and your own efforts to help people with dependency issues. But man, fentanyl, it is just a sinister killer, isn't it?
It is. And it's really what got me out of, I used to house people for 20 years, but I was noticing a few years ago that I was, calling a lot of parents and saying their loved ones were dead. And that hits home. I mean, that starts to really wear on you. And I think the last 3 people that came to live with me actually lived in my back house here, ended up passing away. And it was all because, they didn't realize what's out there today. And maybe like Bill's, loved one just accidentally had this happen. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. But it's a different world out there for sure.
It is, and we can't bring enough attention to it. What's kind of scary about it, and I think that Angel Myers and I talked about, certainly the Attorney General and I have talked about, Sean Tyndall and I have talked about it, Bill and I just talked about it. But this notion that a pill can be pressed to look like a Tylenol. I mean, just think about this for a minute. And be the last Tylenol you ever took. I mean, that it's just, I think the focus at a very simplistic level is simply never take a drug of any form that you don't know where it came from. I mean, it just has to be the way we live from now on.
It is. There are a lot of crazies out there, and they're making the penalties harsher and harsher, but it really is premeditated murder, on these people's part.
It is.
And it has to be looked at as such. It's not, it was your son, he was trying to make some money. No, I mean, he's going to, has a chance of killing somebody.
Listen, well, one of the points that I made on one of our shows is that you think about cartels in the jungles of, Central America. Do you think they care about someone's grandkids or not as they're cutting that drug and making it look like whatever they make it look like? I'm glad that this current administration is focused on it the way that they are, because it is, again, sinister is the best word I can come up with, but it's certainly deadly, and we've got to stay focused on it. So yeah, I'm proud of Bill, as difficult as it is. I'm proud of him, and his family for being willing to tell, Camden's story, such that other families don't have to deal with the same thing. So let's shift gears. You just got done with your big, event of the year. It's not the only event of the year, but it's, by all practical purposes, it certainly looks like it went really well.
It does. It's become a sort of a coastwide event, whereas the Jolly was a lot of Jackson County with the Little Harrison County. This has really gotten the attention of state line to state line, and we had 80 models, 21 boutiques, all coming together, a full house, and we were able to not only raise a couple $100,000, we got a gift that night, several $1 million gift. And so when you start doing that and shaking the trees, you see what comes out of it. But what comes out mostly, Ricky, is we're building relationships with each other. And
right.
It's amazing how much South Mississippi has come together since Katrina. That, before you'd read about people in the paper, but you'd only see them maybe at Rotary. Now we're starting to attend events together. I think you were at a talent show, weren't you, a judge?
No, I was supposed to be. I had a little medical thing. It's all good, but I was not able to make it, and I sent my regrets to Kathy. But yeah,
those are all good events. Those are great
they
events.
are. Hey, you knew where it hit me. I mentioned it on the store. I mentioned on the show, but all the Katrina events, I didn't go to any except for one, the event at Dave Dennis's house, because a lot of the folks who are, still here that were part of the Governor's Commission were there. A lot of the mayors and others from across the coast were there. Of course, Governor was there, and the former First Lady was there. So got a chance to really reconnect with people. But one of the things that hit me while Haley was talking, I kind of snuck off to the back of the room and just observed the room while Haley was talking. What hit me was how many young leaders were in the room. Now, either they were not here yet, or they were just kids when Katrina hit. But that's one of the reasons why this networking that you're doing, bringing in new generations of leaders, and whether you're new to the community or maybe you're just now getting to a point where you're starting to give back to the community, you can never stop connecting people. I mean, it's not like a one and done thing. It's something you got to be constantly focused on, isn't it?
A lot of people get, they get tired of putting on events after a year. Try doing it for 27 or 28 years. And that's where you start seeing those people stand out. I found my mini-me in Amanda Ray. I mean, she is a machine. And I know I'm too old to be running around like that anymore. And, it's good to be able to see those young leaders that have that passion that, we've had our careers, but I think our time in the sun is starting to fade a little bit. And we bring something to the table. We obviously bring quite a bit to the table from the connections, but it is exactly what you said. I mean, I got to get you to come see this thing because you're the one person that has not walked the runway, because you told me that Ann would never do it.
Yeah, no, she would not do it. Well, it's not. Here's the thing, just so people understand. Imagine I was publisher at three Sun Herald in Mobile and New Orleans, and then I had responsibilities for newspapers across the Southeast. And the number of times that I could have got sucked into the vortex on social or community focused events across multiple markets, you can only imagine. I could have literally had something every single night, every single day, every single weekend day. It was just the pull of the job was like that. And Ann said along the way that, tell me when I have to be at something. Just tell me when I have, and I'm not going to question whether I need to be there or not. If you just reserve the ones I have to be at, tell me when I have to be at it, then I'll never fight you that I'll be there. I'll be there and do whatever I need to do. Because there were so many. And even then it was busy. So once I retired, she retired too. And she said, you can still say yes, but I'm saying no. And that's where that comes from. It's just from she did her part for a lot of years, and she's not interested in.
I remember out at Fallen Oak running the golf tournament, for St. Patrick's. I remember first time, that was the first time I ever went out there. And she was out there and, running the show. So a lot of times you see people like yourself, Dave Dennis, the same thing. They've been around a long time and they're called every night to be at something. I feel that way for mayors. I mean, mayors are pulled in every direction. And I saw Hugh the night before. He was going to be there and he said, "Hey, I'm going out of town. I'm going to enjoy my few days off. I hope it's a success." So, it's good to have those events, but you certainly understand.
Hey, when we come back on the other side, we'll find out the latest in just the world of the Bacot Foundation of South Mississippi, and find out what's on Todd's mind these days. We'll see you after this. Welcome back to the Ricky Matthews Show from the Citizens Bank Studio. We're visiting with Todd Trenchard, my good friend in the community for a lot of years from the Bacot Foundation of South Mississippi. Todd, one of the things, we'll get to, what else is going on in your world these days. As I've been finishing this book, I thought a lot. I actually have two different chapters that lean toward legacy. One specifically about legacy, and the other, it's got a lean toward. I ended up combining those two and expanding a chapter about grief because, hang on one second. I'm not sure. That's good. To find hope, everybody's going to face grief at some times in their lives. Some people face it much more significantly than others. And, the way out of grief is to find hope. So I ended up adding that. If I think a lot about legacy, if I were to write about legacy today, I still think about what George Schlegel said, and that is he doesn't want to be remembered. He just wants the things he was involved in to continue. I just think that's a beautiful way to say it. But, if you have a legacy, the way I would say your legacy would be is you cannot go wrong by making part of your mission, part of the foundation's commitment to connect people. Because you're planting seeds all over the place. Over all these 20 plus years, you've been planting these seeds, and they grow in so many different ways. And you hope when you're dead and gone, and I'm dead and gone, the way that I've done that too through this show, that these seeds continue to grow. That's the most we can hope for, isn't it?
It is. And, like I said, just because something wasn't there doesn't mean that you can't start something. It takes a lot of backbreaking work maybe to get it off the ground. But, I've been preaching now for a long time. Any community can do exactly what we did. We just came up with this idea, one afternoon, talking with Royce Cumbus and Mike Dixon, let's throw a golf tournament. But it's going to be a big golf tournament. 10 years later, let's throw a fashion show. And then that benefited Pascagoula quite a bit. Now, as I go across the coast, you see Butch doing that same thing over in the Gulfport market. They watching what you do, and that's, like you said, planting that seed. Somebody else takes it and runs with it. So, it's that's going to be remembered a lot longer than we are. I mean, they'll forget us probably pretty quickly, but.
Well, I often say, people have to really think about this, but when we go, the lights aren't going to blink. It's good. We move on. So, the legacy is this sparks. That's the way I describe it. That's the way I wrote about it. These sparks we leave in other people, in a lot of ways. When I talk about George's legacy, he left a spark in me. I had the opportunity to work closely with him when he, on so many different, long before Katrina and then after Katrina. But, watching his leadership and being able to go work shoulder to shoulder with him, I consider myself one of the sparks that he left. And Anthony DePiazzi, I hate that he's not here on this earth anymore. But I got to work with him at a time when dogged determination defined whether we were going to survive or not. And I shared that with him, and that spark that he left, I hope to help keep it alive because he played such an incredible role. I could go down, John McFarland. I could, there's so many people that played these roles.
Ricky, Ricky, we're public figures, so everybody knows about that. Think of all the people that are planting seeds behind the scene that you never hear of in
You never know.
churches. They're there every Sunday. They're there every Wednesday. They don't have the platform that we do, but we do. We are called to more because we do have this platform. If you have the platform and you don't do anything with it, you've wasted a lot of time. And
No.
Blessed to be called to this position. But Lord, I've met people that do a lot more than I'll ever do.
No.
Almost on a weekly basis.
I think you're right about that. These people who are those are the people, and some of them have been on this show. You would not know who they were if we weren't talking about them. Otherwise, they're fine. They're fine just being behind the scenes, feeding somebody, working in a food kitchen somewhere, or helping someone who can't help themselves. Or I would tell you, I had an interesting, someone in my neighborhood, I hate to say it, man, but someone in my neighborhood committed suicide. But his parents lived with him, and I knew something had gone on at the house, but I didn't know what it was. So, as you know, I get up and run every morning, and one of my neighbors, just sweet neighbor, the father was walking through the neighborhood, or actually was on a scooter going through the neighborhood, and she stopped, and I didn't know what had happened at this house, and she offered. I just overheard her talking to him. Is there any food I can bring you? Is there anything I can do to help you? You need me to come over? And I just listened to her. And I went ahead and finished that cul-de-sac, and I came back. She stopped me, and she told me what had happened at this house. And I just thought it was so beautiful the way she was just playing her. If I hadn't overheard it, no one would even have known about it. But it was just a beautiful thing that she was doing to make that older couple know that they weren't alone, that she was there if they needed her. That goes on all the time, man. I love telling those stories.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the beauties of this part of the country, and specifically the Gulf Coast region. I think I've been to other parts of the country. I've lived in other parts of you. We don't talk to each other. I mean, they don't talk to you. It's sort of segregated and stays in its own silo. Here, people get to know each other, and there's a fabric and a bond that's pretty unique when you really can sit back and look at it. Like you said, sometimes it's best to just do what you did at that thing at Dave's house. That same night, I was at the Great Southern, having a thing with Butch, and we were thanking some people. But when you can sit back and just watch a room, you'll be amazed at what you see. We're always driven and going so fast, we miss that. And that was an interesting observation that you made.
Yeah, just looking at the people in the room. But, now that I don't have CEO responsibilities like I did in my prior world, I do take the time now to look at that. I don't get out too often. So when I do get out, I try to soak it all up and take it in. So in the few minutes that we have left, how are things? What's the state of health at the Bacot Foundation of South Mississippi these days?
Well, we're doing exactly what we said we were going to do, and that is get away from being event-driven and start looking at legacy gifts and, major gifts. And wouldn't you know, something's dropped in our lap that, $3-point-something million. It'll be announced here shortly. But there's a lot of people that I've met over the years that either have a lot of property that they'd like to donate for a tax write-off, something that we could put together and maybe connect the dots and develop. That really has given me another energy. And you find those younger people like Amanda Ray that can put on the events. You can still have the events to bring everybody together, but I think that the best is yet to come. I think we're going to generate a lot of money and help a lot of communities. Because I know what's coming down the pipeline.
Well, Todd, we're at the end of our time together. The clock that we're looking at is wrong, but it's been a pleasure to spend some time with you.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to think of working together. Good to see you. And
you too,
appreciate y'all thinking about us.
Todd Trenchard from the Bacot Foundation of South Mississippi. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.